That's not what we're sick of. Who is this guy talking?
What do you make of that, Doug?
Well, there was about 120,000 vote drop off between the primary and the special in Georgia. And the larger issue of primary drop off, there was a
Okay.
study that
You
showed
want to see voting increase? Make it an internet thing. Make it to where they can log onto a government site, just like with unemployment, and log their votes. Watch how the vote turnout would turn then. People don't want to stop their daily life to think that they're going to go and make a vote to change the world, when really we all voted for Al Gore. George Bush should have never been in office. That's what we're pissed off about. Look at these numbers they try to show us. Oh, they're down here, they're down there, but you know what? What they're saying in the percentages, they're not showing how they increase in the numbers. Think of how the population has changed in the last 8 years, even. Do you think the population is going up or is it going down? You text me at this number. Now, listen, the population is getting greater and the percentages are going down because more people don't give a shit, but there are still a lot of people voting. The percentage is down, the number is higher because the mass number is larger. Now, when you think about voting, would you go vote? I've never voted once. I'm not going to say how old I am. I've never voted once because I know it won't make a difference. If they want one guy in, he'll get in. And once he gets in, he's still controlled by the same people. They're all still controlled. Look, when they said Obama was breaking secret, or they said he was breaking rules, and they're like, well, what rules is he breaking? They're like, he's just breaking the rules of being president. He's not being respectful the way he's going about things. Dude, the rules he's breaking are the secret, unwritten rules that when you become president, you get to learn the true inner workings behind the curtain. But they don't know who the director is, even. The real president doesn't know who the real controller of them are. They just know that the rules based around that are. You don't go making changes without talking behind the curtain first. So yeah, presidents, when we think we're getting an inauguration address, whatever, they're saying something to us for the first time, they've already sat down, they've talked about it, they knew it was happening when it was happening, they knew it was going on before it was going on. Then they talk about what they're going to tell us, and then we get told. So yeah, that's why we're pissed off. We should all be able to tap into our satellite and see what's going on around the earth. They got satellites, they can zoom in real time, take pictures of you, see where people are, people of interest. They know where everybody is at all times. Why do you think Saddam and all them guys were hiding underground? They got some of the same capabilities that they got from satellites, and they're working with other countries. And now it's all said and done. Yeah, we got this dictator. We took out this bad guy. But now look at the other bad guys that are popping up. Look all this shit that's going on with Russia now and all the stuff at home. We can't never make nothing right. I'm talking about states and ethics. We shouldn't. If I had a job for 20 years, after about 15 years, I would probably get a little lazy too and start doing things that just benefit me and my family. So we got all these politicians that have been in office. They made a lifetime out of it. They made it a family business being in politics. We shouldn't let people come into politics that have been in it for too long. I mean, there's a lot of new people out here with fresh ideas that are willing to change for the people that they come from. When you come from politics and when you come from money, you try to keep it the same. You try to keep it traditional. But these other people, they want to change the tradition because they're new and because they've seen it from the other side of the field. And now I don't want to be throwing the ball at somebody's head at a 100-mile-an-hour fastball in a baseball game. I want to try to hit the ball. I want to try to see if I can smack it out of the park now. It's not fair that there's no three-strike rule when it comes to some of these people. I mean, if I screw up in school, they kick you out, for a week, or you're suspended, whatever. You get into a fight, they take your ass to court now, and it's like, now no wonder why these kids are coming to school with guns, because they want to eliminate somebody. They want to take them out, and they see how these people do it on TV. They're ruthless. And then you see all this stuff happening in the world with guns and violence and kids shooting kids because the parents are freaking out too. And they can see that their parents are struggling, and they can see that it's hard and it's going to get harder for them. And they start to understand it, and you're trying to understand at a young age some of the complications in life, and you can't totally understand these complications because your brain isn't fully developed. Even I myself think back to when I was a youthful person, and I'm like, man, wow, my outlook on things was really different, and to be able to remember that and compare to it now is amazing to me, because some people think that they're the same, but you don't realize how much you change. It's like looking in front of a mirror every day for 10 years. You don't really notice it until you look at a picture from yourself 10 years ago to now, and look at America and the government and guns. If guns were never developed and made, think about where the world would be now. Who would be in control of the world? Would it be the strong? Would it be the smart? Or would it be just the person who was strong and smart that could shoot a gun? We got to think about how we can make a change, like this chick here is saying. We got to figure out how we can step up, stand together, and make our own rules, and really put ourselves into our own vote. How come 30 or 40% of the people think one way, and that's how we're living? But then 60% of the people think a totally different way, and that's how we want to live, but we can't strive for it if they keep holding us back. How can John Boehner be in charge of the Senate and Congress and not ever vote on what we all want? We all want him to vote on federal minimum wage and shit, and regular minimum wage and state minimum wage, all that shit. All these states that take the Supreme Court rulings and change them for their own benefit, this is ridiculous. How are we even going to sit here and let different states make different rules for themselves when the Supreme Court is supposed to be the court of the nation? So every little state is its own little nation, basically, following their own little rules, doing their own thing. I mean, if we got a Supreme Court and you don't have to listen to them in your state, then why do we have a Supreme Court? We're paying them to render that decision. And then we're paying politicians in different states to take that decision away. Well, if everybody wants to vote as a nation, that's what we need to do. People need to not vote. People need to not vote on paper. People need to not vote for president in 2016. No one needs to vote. And there should be a law stating that if they don't get 80% of the population of the United States in a vote, if they don't get 80 to 90% in the vote, they shouldn't be allowed to consider the results. Period. Period. And I want to know what percentages we've been getting in the last few elections of all things. And these guys that are trying to block the votes, if they're trying to block a vote